I have to play 200 hours of poker in 30 days, or else I owe 5 of you guys $1,000. So far, I've played 66 hours of poker and won $3,665, but we still have a long ways to go. October 31st. It's Halloween. Still, it doesn't give us an excuse not to play. The scariest thing about Halloween this year is not getting enough hours in and paying you guys $5K out of my pocket. Happy Halloween! We are on our way to Lucky Lady Casino. 5-5 that we played the last 2 weeks. Super fun game. And yeah, the plan today is to play that for as long as it runs. Last time, it usually only runs for about 6 hours. What 21-year-old doesn't spend their Halloween at a casino? We're back at Lucky Lady for this game we've been playing for the last couple of Fridays, and we're in for $2,000. First hand we get into, we have Ace King on the big blind. There's 3 limps for $10. I raise it up to 100, and only my friend Matt in the small blind calls. The flop comes 9-5-3 with 2 clubs. He checks, and our hand can still be good here a lot. I start with a half pot bet of $100, and Matt quickly calls. The turn comes the 8 of clubs, and he checks to me. With a club in our hand, I think this is a pretty good spot to keep betting. This card connects the board even more, and I think we can fold out all sorts of low pairs here. As played, we can have a ton of flushes. I bet 250, and if he calls, I'm likely going to bluff the river as well. He does end up calling the turn, and I'm getting ready to fire the river, but the river comes the 7 of clubs. Now we have a flush. We don't really have to bluff anymore, and when he checks to me, certainly I'm going to be value betting this, hoping to get a call by any lower flush or maybe even a straight. I bet 500, and immediately I can tell that he doesn't like it, which is great because he doesn't have the ace of clubs. We have it, folks. After a while, he does convince himself to call, and we roll over the king high flush to scoop a nearly 2K pot early on. In the next one, we have 10-9 of spades on the button. I make it $30, and the big blind and straddle call. The flop comes queen, queen, 7, rainbow with 1 spade. We have nothing. We got some backdoor draws and a dream. It checks to me, and I bet small for $20. We only get called by the big blind. Turn is the king of diamonds, and now he leads into me for $100. Should be a pretty standard fold here, but I've seen this player do this turn lead with a bunch of nothing hands before. In fact, 2 videos ago, he did this against me when I had pocket kings. An ace came on the turn and he led for pot with just 8 high and no draw. So I'm not gonna let him bully me around anymore. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think he's gonna have a queen when he does this. So I have some devious plans to call here and then give him hell on the river. I call, and the river is a 4. He bets again for $200, which again, I just think is a bit strange. If he had a queen, I think he would bet bigger than this. He could do this with some king X hands, which would make sense, but I think that those hands are not gonna call a raise here. I didn't float the turn to fold the river, folks, and certainly I'm not calling, so I raise to $1,100, putting max pressure on him. It really is a spot where I think he's just gonna fold everything except a queen. And if I don't think he has a queen very often, this should get through all this analysis just for him to call. Well, this is awkward. He rolls over queen 8 for trips, and the read was completely off. But hopefully this will help us get paid the next time we actually have a hand, and I think it might have in this one. We got lucky in another pot with ace queen. I hit an ace on the turn and got paid off for 800 on the river. A nice little rebate after dusting off with 10-9. We're playing the bounty game where if you win 3 hands in a row, everyone pays you $100. We have the bounty alert on us and end up getting it all in for $400 each against our friend Dennis. We have 9-7 suited and he has us absolutely dominated with 10-9 off. He holds on both of the boards and we don't get the bounty. We did the old switcheroo because now Dennis has the bounty alert on him and he really wants to win because he goes all in blind, first to act for 1,300. I'm in the small blind, it folds to me, and I have pocket 10s. Wow, what a dream spot. We also go all in and everybody else folds, and we're once again going off to 2 runouts against Dennis, who hasn't looked at his cards.
Fuck me. Oh. Fuck me.
Oh!
Fuck me.
Ace 8 good.
Oh, oh, maybe.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
We lost?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I didn't see the other side.
We end up holding on both against ace-6 offsuit, so he actually had, not a terrible hand, but that was certainly a nice gift from the poker gods there. Next, I'm in the small blind with ace-king. We're 5-handed at this point, and there's a $20 straddle on. The button limps, I raise to 150, and the straddle, who only has about 300 left, calls the 150, and the button calls as well with about 1200 behind. The flop is 10-3-3 rainbow. Since the cutoff is so short, I'm going to treat this kind of like a heads-up pot against the button. I bet 150, the cutoff folds, but the button sticks around. The turn is a pretty good looking ace of diamonds. We're gonna have the best hand here probably always. Obviously he could have some trips or something, but I go for the tiny block bet and make it $110. The button looks a little bit confused with this bet, and with that confusion, he decides to go all in for $1,000. I quickly call, of course, and he immediately looks unhappy. That means our ace-king is certainly good. We run it twice and win this one with ace-king after he mucks his cards. So the session is going somewhat well. It didn't end here, but we did change tables. We move over to the other table, which is a bomb pot only table. Pretty degenerate, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna cover any of the bomb pots because that would take way too long, but I actually crushed it. Ended up winning $3,000 more at this table, along with a couple of flips at the end of the session, to book a win of $5,570. Hell yeah. We played for 6 hours and 29 minutes too, so pretty good.
Good session today. We won $5,500 in 6.5 hours. The last 2 hours was pretty degen. Just moved over to the other table, combined tables, and then played bomb pots. I think we won like 3K on that table. We're gonna go to Gardens, which is about 25 minutes away. We're gonna bounce and go to another casino. Let's go. Also, I'm still working on getting my filming permission at Gardens, so I'm not gonna be able to show the hands. I will just do some B-roll and keep you guys updated.
We're playing the 5-5-10 bounty game. If you win 2 hands in a row, everyone owes you $25, and it just keeps going. This game is an $800 cap buy-in, so there's a lot of pre-flop all-ins given all the bounty action. 2 hours in, we're in for almost 5 buy-ins, like almost 4K. Here's what happened. The very first hand, we got stacked in a bomb pot, trips over trips. Then we lost 8-7 suited against pocket 10s, all in pre-flop when I was trying to get my bounty. And then we lost pocket 7s against pocket 8s, all in pre-flop. And then we got stacked in another bomb pot after flopping 2 pair, getting it all in on the flop and losing to a turned straight. So, things are getting scary for us tonight. And it's not because of Halloween. After a bit, we actually started cooking and making a comeback. I was running through hands, getting bounties, and I ran my stack up to almost 3,000. And then we get ace queen all in pre-flop against pocket 10s, a flip that would get us even on the night. Couldn't find a way to win that one, and after 4 hours and 15 minutes, we called it a night, booking a loss in this Gardens game of $2,785.
So that's all she wrote for us. We played 4 hours of the Gardens. Good for the hours, bad for my wallet. We lost $2,700. The bounty aspect makes everything crazy, and then everyone's short stack. I think I made 1 punt, and that was with the pocket 7s. I think everything else was pretty standard. We had a good day. We played almost 11 hours. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we're talking about. Let's go. I think in this challenge, like, fatigue is already starting to happen. I've played 10 or 11 days in a row now, which I haven't done in a long time. Can't just put my head down and grind, or else towards the end, the fatigue is going to get there. I'm going to start playing bad, and it's just whatever. Like a third of the way through the challenge. I think we have 82 hours in the book. It's going well so far. Happy Saturday. Big day today. Showed up to Hustler. They're doing like a big promo today, so the tables are packed. Let's have a good day. We're going to try to play like 8 to 10 hours.
This isn't just another day at Hustler. This is Founders Day. They're giving away $2,500 every hour for basically the whole day. And it's also Game 7 of the Dodgers World Series, so this place is going to be absolutely rocking. And I'm ready to put in a long day with some fun games. We started out by playing 42 minutes of 5-5 and losing $145. Then we get moved over to 5-5-10. We win $700 early on in this hand with pocket 5s after we turned a straight and they went all in. And now here's an interesting one with ace-jack offsuit. There's 3 limps for 10. I'm in the straddle and raised to $90. The middle position and big blind both call, and the flop comes jack 5-3 with 2 clubs. The big blind checks. I bet 100. Top pair, top kicker. Let's start building this pot. The middle position player folds, but now the big blind gets in there with a raise. 260. Pretty small raise here. And right off the bat, my instinct is to not give him credit for this, because I think if he had a strong hand, he would make it like $350, $400. Regardless of the raise size, my hand is very strong, and I'm definitely not folding. I call. The turn is a deuce of diamonds, and he does not slow down. down. He continues with a bet of 480. I have zero intentions of folding here. It also helps that I know that this player can get after it. He's super aggressive very often, and honestly one of the more difficult players to play against in these hustler games. I call the 480, and with $1,700 in the pot, the river comes the king of diamonds. Pretty much a brick, unless he happened to have the king high flush draw. Now he tanks for almost an uncomfortably long time. Almost like so long where you don't know if he checked or not, so you kind of like make an eye contact with the dealer. You know, is it my turn, whatever. He ends up betting very small for 350. Tiny block bet on the river. I'm not folding, all right? I'm not raising, so I call, and he says we're good. Let's go. I turn over my cards, and yeah, we scoop this pot. My read was pretty spot on this one, given his flop raise size, so nice to scoop that one. We're up a good amount now, but we move over to the other 5-5-10 table, where all of our friends are, and they're drinking and having a good time. The $80 straddle is on often. There's blind all-ins. It's absolute madness. The table is ordering shots, and we're flipping to see who pays for them. And then my friend TJ open shoves for 3K. He's done this a few times already, so I can't expect it to be super strong. I look down at pocket fives. That's a pair. That's good enough for me. I call, and we run it twice against Jack 8 offsuit. What's going on here, guys?
Better.
Chop it.
We end up just chopping it up, which I'm fine with. It's just a friendly game. Now I have ace-7 of diamonds in the small blind. The cutoff makes it 40, the button calls, and I 3-bet to 300. Only the cutoff calls. This guy is a wild player. His name is Leo, and he will do some things that you will never expect. Anyway, we're heads up to the flop, and it's ace-8-5, all clubs. I start with a check, and right away, he just jams his $2,000 stack in the middle. I've played with this guy enough to know that I probably should call here. So, I shrug, and I stick the money in. Unfortunately, we find out that we're drawing dead against a set of fives. Yikes. So, yeah, $2,000 down the drain. Good hand. The 7-deuce game is on this table for 25 per player. There's one limp for 20, and now the button, Leo, raises blind to 120. I have 7-deuce in the big blind, and now is the time to pounce. I make it 500. Please, just let me take this one down pre-flop. Of course, probably wouldn't have included this in the video if that's what happened. It's not going to be that easy. The middle position limper calls the 500, which is terrifying. And now Leo finally looks at his cards, and he calls too. This is an absolute disaster. We're out of position to 2 players with the worst hand in poker until the flop comes king 7-deuce. Oh my god, we flop bottom 2 pair. You can't make this up. I bet 400. Now the middle position player raises to 1,200. The button folds. I jam my $1,600 stack in the middle. He calls, and it's a 5K pot. We decide to run it twice, and we scoop. 2 pair is good. What an insane hand. We double up along with an extra $25 from everyone. That was absolutely electric. This game is insane. Everybody's having fun, and to make things even better, the Dodgers just won the World Series. And this place is going absolutely nuts. In this next one, there's a $50 raise. I re-raise to 200 with ace-queen, and now Leo in the double straddle makes it 500. It's back on me, and I'm doing nothing but calling here. Leo gets after it, and I'm trying to get some of that $2,000 back that I gave him earlier. With $1,000 in the middle, the flop comes ace-5-3 with 2 hearts. It's a pretty great start for us. He starts with a bet of 300, and I call. The turn is the Jack of Hearts. It's not my favorite card, obviously, because we could be beat by ace-jack or a flush now. But knowing who we're playing against, he can certainly have a wider range than most. Now he slows down and checks, which is a pretty good sign for us. I'm pretty torn between betting and checking here. I don't think we're going to get all 3 streets of value here anyway, so I decide to check and maybe let him blast off the river. That's what I do. I check, and the river comes the Jack of Spades. Now he does blast off. He bets $1,000, and I'm just never folding here. It played out exactly how I wanted it to. He could even do this with like a worse ace. I call, and he turns over Jack 6 offsuit. What'd I tell you, man? The guy gets after it. So you got to give him credit sometimes. Nice hand, Leo. We can't stop losing hands to Leo, because after this, we super punted off 2K with 7-deuce. I actually hate this game. I thought it would be a smart idea to try to bluff him. Not very smart, guys. I re-raised to 1,500 pre-flop, and he called. I bet the flop of king, queen, 8 for 800, and then I got min-clicked to 1,600. Not gonna try anything more now. I wave the white flag and fold. Not my smartest decisions in that one. We played for a while longer, and we got shorthanded, but we were just so card dead for the last couple of hours. With the $20 straddle on every hand, our stack bled down quite a bit. We ended up losing $620 in 9 hours and 5 minutes. Can't lie though, it's one of the most fun sessions I've ever played.
All right, 10-hour session completed. Towards the end too, so after we dusted off 2K with Seven-deuce, we just got super card dead and it was kind of tilting. Tomorrow's Sunday, so it'll be our 14th day. So that means we have 16 more days to play 108 hours. That means we have to play 6.75 hours per day every day. So, yeah, let's just keep grinding.
If I had to pick a day to not play poker, it would be Sunday. For 2 reasons. 1, I just want to sit and watch football all day. But 2, usually the games aren't really popping on Sundays. Either they don't run or the games are just bad. But I don't have an excuse, so of course we're going to go play. We're going to Hustler for a Sunday night grind.
We're 92 hours into the challenge, and this is the end of week 2. Honestly, any hours is going to be good. I'm just going to play until I feel like I can't anymore, or the games get super bad. Shooting for 4 hours or more. Let's go.
All right, we started by playing 2-5 and 5-5 for 35 minutes, losing $91. Then we get into the 5-5-10. In our 1 hour and 23 minute session, we really only played about one decently big pot. I make it $60 with aces, the button re-raises to 200, and I put in another raise, of course, to 550. He calls, and the flop comes king, queen, 5. I bet super small for 200, and he folds. There you go. We battled a couple other small pots and ended up winning $1,270, which is nice. But obviously, we're not done for the night. I'm not going to come here and just play an hour and a half and leave. The game just broke. So I decided to head over to Lucky Lady and play their 2-3-5 public stream.
We ended our Hustler session after 2 hours. Usually I would leave, but I am handcuffed to at least play a couple more hours. That wouldn't make any sense for me to only play 2 hours tonight. Let's go, have a little bit more fun on the Lucky Lady stream.
It's an 800 cap game, so I'm ready to just splash around and have some fun. Early on, we get 7-deuce. And of course, the game is on. There's a few limps, and I don't know. I just send my $800 stack in the middle. And Justin to my left puts in the call rather quickly. That's not good. I really got to stop playing the 7-deuce game like an idiot. But he has pocket 9s. I tell him, run it one time. Come on, let me get there. Of course, we don't get there. It was kind of a sweat, though. We end up punting off a bit more, and we're into this 800 cap game for 2,300. Maybe I should stop being a donk. That's a really good idea. All right, it's time to lock in. We start playing solid, and we build up our stack slowly. And I swear, no more punting with 7-deuce. Okay, after this hand, we have 7-deuce in the double straddle. There's a raise to 50 and a call from the small blind in straddle. I make it $215, and we're gonna have to battle because they both call. The good news is we got position on both of them. The flop comes queen 8-8. We flop the nuts. They check to me, and I bet 180. Only the player in the small blind calls, and the turn is a jack. When he checks, I probably should keep firing here if I want to bluff him off by the river, but I've decided that I've lost too much money with 7-deuce today. I check. The river's a brick, and then he tanks for a while, grabs some chips like he's gonna bet, but then checks. What is going on here? Remember what I said about not losing any more money with 7-deuce? Yeah. I was telling the truth because I'm not going to lose any more money because I'm going to win this pot. I'm all in for $1,200. If he calls me, I swear on my life, I will never play 7-deuce again. He doesn't think very long before he folds. Let's go. We get to keep playing this game. Thank God. We turn over the 7-deuce and win the pot. I honestly thought I was going to get called on the river there. I did not think that was going to get through. We played on stream for a while, but those are the only hands I'm going to cover. We battled back pretty hard and ended up breaking a profit of $40 after 6 hours and 27 minutes.
That was unexpected. We just put in a 6.5 hour session. We are ahead of schedule because if we play 50 hours a week, then that's 200 hours in 28 days. So 100 hours in 14 days. Awesome. I thought the game was going to play much smaller. So I didn't film. I thought I was only going to be there for maybe 2 hours. And we were into the game for a bunch. We punted at the beginning. We grinded it back. Good afternoon. About to head to the private game. Woke up today at 1 p.m. Slept like an absolute dog, which I needed so bad. I feel good. Ready to go. This will be our 15th day playing in a row. I don't remember the last time I did that.
We have yet to book a win in this game during the challenge. Let's change that today. There's always so much to go over in these games, but due to getting through all the days of this challenge, I'm gonna have to keep it somewhat brief. I'm just gonna cover the monumental hands that happened. I might be turning into an OMC because I have ace king under the gun in limp for $20. Yeah, you heard that right. Here's my reasoning though. We're actually playing 10-handed right now, and the nit game is on. People are gonna call my raise way too much, and then we're just gonna go multi-way a lot. If I pull out the old limp raise, then I can win my nit button a lot easier and build the pot with a better hand. So I limp, the blind's limp, and now it's getting scary. It looks like it's about to limp through, but Global Danny, my lord and savior, raises to $200, and my plan is coming to life. I put in the limp raise to $600. Danny and I have played a lot together, and he knows that this is a new thing for me, so he looks a little bit confused, but he still makes the call. The flop comes ace king 3 rainbow. He checks. I bet really small for 250, and he folds, taking down the pot along with my nib button. You might be wondering, why did I show you that hand? Just to kind of give you some context of why I'm limping. Because in the next one, I have pocket kings under the gun, and guess what I do? I limp for $20. There's another limp, and then a raise from a looser player in the cutoff to 100. It gets back around to me. Here we go again. I re-raise to 400. I could probably even make it bigger, something like $600, especially against this specific player, but he calls the 400, and now we see a flop of Jack 9-7 with 2 clubs. I start with a small bet of 275 on this somewhat connected board. Now he raises to 800. He's representing a set, which he can certainly have, but given what I know about this player, it's not as scary as it looks. He can have all sorts of draws, worse hands like a jack, and also just airball bluffs. Of course, we're going to run into it sometimes as well, but it is what it is. I can't just call here and allow the turn to check through, so I go all in for $3,500, and he calls pretty fast, which I don't love. He shows us that he flopped bottom 2 pair with 9-7 suited. We run it twice, but we can't improve on either run out. An $8,000 pot is getting pushed the other way, and once again, we are stuck in this game. We tried to get some of our money back with ace king, but ended up getting all in pre-flop for $2,700 against my friend Pally, who had pocket kings. We can't find a way to win that one, and we get more chips, and we're into this game for a total of $10,000. I'm stuck about 6. Maybe one day I'll win in this game. We were grinding this stack for a while and actually playing pretty well, I think. Regardless of how this game ends up, it's by far my most favorite game of the week. Really an incredible group of people. It's always a blast. At this point, we're 5-handed and it's about 2 or 3 in the morning. The game has changed to 10.25 with the $50 straddle on pretty often. I have $4,500 in my stack, and if there's a time to get unstuck, it's now. I'm in the $50 straddle with Jack 9 of diamonds. Brian in the cutoff makes it 150. Danny in the big blind calls, and I think I can 3-bet or call this one, both are fine. I decide to call this time. The flop is great. It's king 10-7 with 2 diamonds. It checks to Brian, and he bets 150. Danny calls, and I have a flush draw and a double gutter. The absolute world. I'm going to be putting in a raise. I make it 700, and only Brian puts in the call. The turn gives us a flush. It's the 8 of diamonds. Typically, after you check raise the flop and the flush comes in on the turn, you want to bet small. So I put out $600. Could this be the hand that gets us back up close to even? We'll see. Brian thinks for a moment before jamming all in for $2,500. Not folding my flush, of course. I call, and we decide to run it twice. Brian shows ace queen with the ace of diamonds. We're gonna need to dodge another diamond, and we do. Let's go. A $7,000 pot shipping our way at the end of the night. That one feels good. What a battle tonight. I just showed the big hands, but there was obviously a lot more because we played for 9 hours and 24 minutes, only losing $1,550, which pretty much is break even in this game. We were stuck almost 8K at one point, so this one feels like a win. We lost $1,550, which feels like a win, to be honest. We were down 8K at one point, and yeah, we battled back. Played for 9.4 hours. Obviously, we lost a little bit, but that's not what the main focus is. My days just like consist right now of just grinding and sleeping and eating, and that's like a little bit over, exaggeration, but it's definitely a lot. It's not sustainable to like grind this much, but yeah, honestly, it's a fun challenge. It's really good to just put in a bunch of volume and just record everything and review a bunch of hands and just really focus on playing well and grinding and playing fun games. So in 15 days, we've played 110 hours and we've won $6,532. We are ahead of schedule on the hours, which is phenomenal. We're winning money, which is great, and things are going well. I appreciate all the love in the videos. I will see you guys in the next episode.